Well, that's good, everybody. Timeless Traveler here, and on today's episode of Timeless Traveler's Tutorials, we're going to be going over how to put together the triple skeleton spawner from my original Seed Showcase 1 video and turning that into an XP bone meal and arrow farm. That Seed Showcase video has gotten a lot of views, and I have had requests to put together a trident farm for this specific spawner because the location of the spawners might be a little difficult, but I have the sweet spot for it, and I have constructed a farm from that. So if we talk about loot and levels, from level 0, I made it to about 40, 45. I was testing this out on hard without looting 3. So just no enchanting gear, and we were able to get all of these bows, this enchanted armor. So you will be able to break down some of the stuff for your gold nuggets. You can combine a bunch of these bows together for your god tier bows. You also are going to have all these bows, of course, for your dispensers. Now we'll take a look at the rest of the loot here. In just 1 hour of testing, we managed to get all of these bones and arrows without looting 3. So just imagine as you upgrade in your world and you were able to acquire your looting enchantments, just how much loot you're going to get at an hourly rate. For those new to how mob spawner farms work, you have to be within a very small proximity to the spawner in order for it to be active. Unlike regular spawning where you have to be a minimum of 24 blocks away, you have to be within 14, 15 blocks for a mob spawner to be active. And in this location, we are in the prime spot to have all 3 mob spawners active, so we are going to be farming from all 3 locations. Once we gather them, killing them is very simple. We just use a simple trident killer. We have ourselves hoppers to collect all of our loot. We do have a bit of a modification to how we collect the mobs, simply because this is so close to the collection chamber. We'll get to that in the tutorial, but everything is working perfectly fine. They're not spawning outside. We put a couple blocks here to prevent them from spawning on top of the spawner to make sure that the moment they show up, they are immediately going to be going into the water and straight down into our kill chamber. Now for the materials list, I'm going to be adding that down below in the description for your convenience. It's going to be for everything that you see here that is not part of this massive gap. So our hoppers, I'm not going to include the storage because that is entirely up to you. If you want to sort things out, if you don't want to sort them out, how many chests you want, that's entirely up to you. We're going to be including materials list for our trident killers, our water, and this entire casing here. However, keep in mind, there's 2 ways that you can do this. Some people may be using creative, and I've been getting some requests to do how to show the commands to empty out this space without deleting certain blocks, such as our mob spawners over there. And for those that are building this in survival, you can really just carve out this entire space. Instead of hollow, you don't have to empty out this entire room. I'm just doing this to move around so you can all see better. But if you are in survival, you can just carve out this space, just stencil around, and then hollow out the inside, of course, and then set up everything from there. And of course, if you enjoy seeing content like this on the channel, don't forget to leave a like for this video. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how this is working out for you. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and slap the notification bell so you can stay up to date on all future content. Now, without any further ado, let's get into how to put this together. Now, the first step, of course, is that we have to plug in the proper seed. And for those who don't know, the seed is going to be down below, along with a link to that the original Seed Showcase video down below. So now that we're in the world, we have to make it all the way to where the spawners are. And now that we are here, the next thing we want to do is we want to clear this out. Of course, if you are in survival, you're going to have to mine all of this out from one spawner to the next and to the next, and then just kind of give yourself a little bit more, like maybe like a 1 block gap away from your spawner if you can mine it out. If it is already there, such as in this case, then you're good to go. Just make sure that you have mined down to about Y level 11, a little bit lower to account for your storage. Now we're going to show how to do the commands to empty out this space much quicker. All right, team, let's break down the command that we're going to be using to empty out the space if you are in creative. Without going into too much detail, all you need to know is that when you use this squiggly line, that means it's going to be relative to your position. Instead of this being absolute -15, -10, -15 to +15, 10, 15, it is 15 blocks from your position, on the x-axis. So in this case, since it's negative, negative x is going to be west. All right, negative 10 on the y-axis is going down, and then negative 15 is north on the z-axis, and then, vice versa for the other side. We're going to be using relative to our position because it's easier than just plugging in the exact coordinates. You'd have to pull out your compass and know your exact coordinates and write them down and then plug them into here. We're just going to do relative to our position because that is much quicker. Then we're going to fill that entire space with air, but we're going to only replace the cobblestone. So as you can see here, let's go ahead and plug that in. And as you can see, some of the cobblestone has in fact disappeared. That little red text is from a previous command. Don't worry about that. But you saw that this cobblestone went away, yes? So here's what we're going to do to get rid of other stuff. We're going to plug in our mossy cobblestone. You'll see that that goes away. We can get rid of our dirt. And we have no dirt here. Okay. Now let's get rid of the larger stuff. Yeah. How about the stone? And we're going to have a little bit of lag. That's okay. As you can see, we now have cleared out this entire area. And our mob spawners are perfectly safe. We have one here. We have one here. And we should have one right over here. I think it's hidden. It's okay. We're going to get rid of our gravel. All right. And then, of course, you're going to want to get rid of your ores and your lava. And pretty much you just repeat this command, move around a bit, empty out the area, just switch out the words for the blocks for what you need to get rid of, and you'll have this space all cleared out. All right, team, once you've cleared it out with all the commands, or if you've hollowed it out manually in survival, once you have your access to all three of your mob spawners, you're going to want to take a look. I got these coordinates marked out. You'll see them down below in the description as well. This is key to keep all of your spawners activated. Okay, so no matter where we are on these 4 blocks, you're going to see that they are always going to be active. And then from here is where we're going to be building our trident killer and our collection pads. And if you are not in peaceful mode while you're putting this together, you're going to want, of course, to deactivate your mob spawners by placing torches on top and around. You don't have to do all sides. I just kind of do anyway. You just need one like right on the top, and then you won't have to worry about any unexpected guests. All right, so now let's go ahead and put together our trident killer. So you're going to start off on this AFK platform. And you see that we have our spawner right in front of us, and then the upper ones at the top left and right. We're going to actually want to turn around, and then we're going to come down here. We're going to come down by 1 block. Just put a temporary right here. Just like that. We're going to bring this around, making a 4x4 with the 2x2 center hollowed out. Then you're going to want to come up here. You're going to place down your powered rails. And if you were on a lower budget at the time, it's okay to use either droppers or redstone dust in place of the redstone rails. But now we're going to go ahead and we're going to place our observers here, looking at each of the powered rails, and then put a solid block right in here. Now we just want to place a piston on top of every solid block, like so. Fill this in. Now right here, actually, you can go ahead and put your slab to collect your XP. As for the rest of the spaces, go ahead and fill that in with your solid blocks. Now that we have this, we can go ahead and put in our hoppers. Now we're not going to go into like how to put together a storage because it's really up to the player, but I'm just going to put a hopper right here because we need something to connect to. And then we're going to create our floor out of hoppers right here, which of course we're going to place our trident on in just a moment. So however you want your storage set up, just make sure that your hoppers are going to be 1 level below your pistons. And then from there, just have it come down, as we can see here. Bring it down into a chest, item sorter, whatever setup that you want at the time. This is just an example of it dropping down into a chest here. Then the last thing you're going to want to do, well, last 2 things you're going to want to do is load up your trident killer with however many tridents you have and or need. and then we will put a lever right here. Right now, the machine is not on. However, just to prime it real quick, turn it on and then turn it back off, and it will run by itself, and then the tridents will just get to work. So coming over to the back of our trident killer, we're going to bring this out by an additional 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be 8 in total. And I missed one. There we go. 8 in total. Very good. And we're going to come up by 1. We're going to bring this all the way across to here. And all the way across to here. We're going to bring this whole strip out by another 7. So 8 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you'll see that this second block is going to be right in line with that spawner. Go ahead and fill this in from that side all the way to here. All the way to the side. We're going to do the same exact thing over on this side as well. So bringing this out. All right. And then fill this in all the way to a length of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Oh, and 8. And you'll see that that second block is going to be in line with our mob spawner. Go ahead and bring this outline all the way around to right about here. And then fill this all in. And at this point, you should have somewhat of an awkward looking dragonfly or bird or whatever, like a mosquito or something. And here's where it's going to look a little bit more awkward. So we already can channel in this spawner and this spawner, but this one is kind of a little further over here. So we're going to come to the left wing of this awkward moth. And we're going to bring this up by 1. Bring this all the way across. We're going to fill that in if you want. And then, of course, you guess it, we're going to go out by an additional 8 total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if we stand here, you'll see that it is actually going to be within this little box. And you guessed the next step. Of course, we're going to fill this in, starting with the outline or however it works for you, and go ahead and fill in this space. Now you're going to want to build your outline. So what we'll do here is, if you want to watch these skeletons die, and then you could just go ahead and put your glass right there. And then we're going to kind of fill this in. So we're going to, not there, we're going to give ourselves a outline going, just give yourself a lip going around the entire perimeter of this awkwardly shaped moth, or whatever you want to call it. We're going to bring this down and go all the way around just like this. And drop down here, bring this across. This is going to keep all of our water in, of course, for our collection pads. And once we reach the end of this, you're going to keep building this up. You're going to repeat this process a few times over. And you are going to want to build up to about Y28. So right about here, you see that we already have a roof set up. We're going to be right at, let me show you the Y coordinate. We're going to be right here. We're going to be in Y26, but the roof itself is going to be at Y27. So go ahead and complete filling up your wall. And then go ahead and put your roof in after. Now that we have our box, we can go ahead and we're going to just go in here. Oh, wrong block. You want to leave an opening because you're going to want an exit strategy, because once you reactivate your mob spawners, you're going to need a quick way out so you don't get destroyed by all the arrows. If you do happen to die, you do have your hoppers there to collect your stuff. But before we reach that point, what we want to do is we want to do a little bit of a modification for our water channels. Okay, so staying in line with this piston, you want to break out 4 blocks here and bring that out, fill in your floor, and you're going to want to put your signs down here. Now what this is going to do is that whenever a skeleton spawns from this spawner right here, it'll make sure that when they go, the water directs them this way, they will be able to drop down instead of getting stuck right on the spawner. All right, so now that we have that, we can go ahead and let's get our water out all the way across there. We're going to go all the way across here. And then one more here, and then last two right here. You should have all your water going straight into the Trident Killer. Now go ahead and deactivate your, or reactivate your mob spawners. Get rid of the torches on the top one. Now, what you want to do for this one and this one, because they are at a, they're not as close to the ceiling. So when you, before you deactivate this one, you might want to put a block there. That's going to prevent them from spawning on this space. And then they're not really going to pathfind off of here. So just make sure that we have a block there. Go ahead and get rid of all your torches. And they should start spawning. And make sure that you have a very fast way out of here. Because, well, you don't want to get attacked by your skeletons. And for a bit of troubleshooting, if they happen to be spawning outside of here, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that you don't empty out the space here. So what we have right here is this kind of indicating the maximum space that you can have in between this wall and the wall over there. So let me show you real quick with a command. So if we fill in this area, I've just decided to fill up this completely. That way they have no chance of spawning over there. They're going to go straight down into this area. Same thing for this one over here. We're going to fill this in, and that way they have no chance of spawning outside of this area. They're all going to be directed right into here. Okay, making sure that we have our block right above our spawners, forcing them all to spawn down and out to the sides, making sure the walls are in fact covered and there is no way that they can spawn on the outside of this box. The last thing you're going to want to do, of course, after you get out of there, is just let them accumulate and then flick that lever, start gathering your XP and your loot. And of course, don't forget that if you haven't gone to the Nether yet and you want to build this in your world, it's okay. You don't have to worry about getting your crystals for the observers just yet. You can do this still. It's just going to have to be a little bit more manual. So instead of having a Trident Killer here, you would just, and having a 4x4 area, or a 2x2 area, I'm sorry, you would need more like a 2x1. And then you would want to place your slabs right about here to prevent your skeletons from attacking you. And then once you upgrade and you're able to get access to some more expensive gear like the Nether quartz and you're able to create your observers, then you can upgrade and level up to your Trident Killer. And that's going to be all the time that we have for today, everyone. Thank you all again so much for watching. My name is Timeless Traveler. This was Timeless Traveler's Tutorials, how to create a mob farm out of the triple skeleton spawner. Let me know down below in the comments if this video has helped you. For all of those who have seen that video and were wondering how to best utilize the mob spawners here, if this video helped you out, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and slap that notification bell to stay up to date on all future content if you have not already. Also, I hope those commands have been useful. You learned a little bit more about how to use the command feature, specifically the fill and replace. Those are very useful tools that I use a lot when I'm putting together tutorials. It is very helpful for those that are using creative. I would definitely recommend learning how to do more of those commands. If you'd like to see more commands, or maybe like videos for commands, don't forget to let me know. Let me know down below in the comments. If that is something that interests you, I would be more than happy to teach and share what I know about the command system. So until next time, you all take care. Have an amazing day. Thank you all again so much for joining, and I will see you in the next video.